Well, we have to start off by crowning Utter Calamity of the Week. Utter Calamity of the Week goes to none other than KJP, our former White House press secretary under Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre. Okay, Jean-Pierre. She's out here on this book tour promoting her new book. It's called Independent. I think this is interesting, right? There's no one who's more of a Democratic shill than Karine Jean-Pierre. So for her to go out there and sell a book called Independent is laughable, okay? And I don't know why anybody is even taking her seriously. Karine Jean-Pierre, she went out there on the podium every single day and tried to gaslight the American people. She basically said Joe Biden was sharp and quick and doing cartwheels in private. She could barely keep up with him. He was running circles around her. So either Karine Jean-Pierre needs to have her eyes and her ears checked, or she also has cognitive issues herself, because we could all see that Joe Biden was in decline. Okay, the Mars rover could see that Joe Biden was in decline. So for Karine Jean-Pierre to go out there every single day and lie, she took an oath of office to the United States, okay? She worked for us. Our tax dollars paid Karine Jean-Pierre's salary. She did not work for Joe Biden, okay? She might think, oh, I work for Joe Biden. No, you worked for the American people and you lied to us. So we have a bunch of clips. Here at the Spot On Bureau, we dug up a bunch of clips from her book tour. I wanna start off by playing this clip of her on Tim Miller's podcast. Let's take a look.
We did have legislative wins.
Sure,
and
but he didn't talk about them that well, though. He couldn't talk about them. He wasn't campaigning.
No. Wait, first of all, he did talk about them. Whether it broke through or not, he did. Tim, he did talk about.
I mean, he talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less. And he wasn't out there at all. He wasn't good off the cuff. He wasn't doing press conferences. Let's just be real. Like, he didn't do paid events.
Tim, that's not true. Tim, you're conflating all of it. That's what you're doing.
For her to say that's not true is a joke, okay? There is no one more accessible than President Trump. President Trump will sit there and talk to the press for hours. He will take any question. Things aren't vetted. Joe Biden, he was going out there, okay? He had sheets with pictures of the reporters, with their identity, with their biography, all their background. This guy could not talk off the cuff if you paid him, okay? And we were paying him, okay? Joe Biden, there was reporting that showed that Joe Biden was taking a nap basically in the afternoon, in the mornings. He only worked from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For her to basically say that's not true, Joe Biden talked to the press all the time. Is she already trying to gaslight us on things that happened last year? Does she think we all have amnesia? I don't have Joe Biden amnesia. Okay, I watched from January of 2021, okay, to January of 2025, Joe Biden go out there and not answer a single question off the cuff. And when he did, it was an absolute disaster. Now we have another clip. We have another clip of her on Gayle King's CBS show. Let's take a look.
The apparent decline of Joe Biden, you said you're a member of the inner circle and you never saw the decline. And after that, I wrote, how?
Yeah. But when we talk about the mental acuity, and again, I take this very, very seriously. Yeah. I never saw anyone who wasn't there. I saw someone who was always engaged.
If she thought Joe Biden was always engaged, like I said, she needs to have her eyes and ears checked. Okay, Joe Biden was wandering off into the bushes. He was stumbling and falling down. We actually put together a montage. Let's look at Joe Biden being sharp and engaged.
The projects. I've been all over the world with you. I've been in and out of.
Now, Karine Jean-Pierre, we know at this point she's a liar, okay? Karine Jean-Pierre, you know you are going out there and lying to the American people when you say you never saw any decline. You thought he could have been president, I guess, till January of 2029. Imagine Karine Jean-Pierre. If we go by Karine Jean-Pierre's way of thinking, she's basically saying Joe Biden was fine. He could have stayed on as president for another 4 years. That is crazy. That is literally crazy. This woman needs to be in a mental asylum if she thinks that is the truth. But Karine Jean-Pierre, she thinks she gets a pass. She thinks she gets a pass, I guess, because she's this LGBT woman of color. And that's what matters the most to the left, right? They don't care about merit. They don't care about the truth. They care about checking boxes. Let's listen to what she said.
How to move forward. And for me, as a Black woman, as a person who's also LGBTQ, I feel as if those communities that I am part of largely get taken for granted. And I see that today in groups that are being thrown under the bus for a short-term win.
No one cares, okay? No one cares about your skin color, who you sleep with, if you're the first French lesbian LGBTQIA-R2D2 press secretary. No one gives a rat's ass, okay? All we wanted you to do was go out there and speak the truth and not lie to us. You lied. You looked the American people in the eye at that podium in the James Brady briefing room, and you lied through your teeth, Karine Jean-Pierre. When you said Joe Biden was quick and sharp and running circles around you, you are an embarrassment. And for you to fall back on identity politics is also embarrassing. But that's the biggest difference right now between the left and the right, I believe. The right and many independents in this country, we care about merit. What can you do? What's the content of your character? What do you have in here in your heart? We don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, male, female, green, purple, cyborg, cyclops, okay? Just get shit done, okay? Just get something done. And Karine Jean-Pierre, all you did was lie and lie and lie. And Karine Jean-Pierre, you know, they say all the time lesbians don't like to hang out with gay people. Lesbians don't hang out with gay men. Karine Jean-Pierre clearly doesn't have a lot of gay friends because this new hairstyle is not working, okay? And I'm not, I'm probably not in a huge position to judge people's hairstyles, okay? But I am going to go fashion police, and we have a picture. So Karine Jean-Pierre, she's trying this new hairstyle out. I think she's under the impression, I think in Karine Jean-Pierre's mind, she thinks if she unveils a new hairstyle and she looks different, people will forget that she's that liar who used to carry around that binder full of nothing. Like, she had this huge binder and didn't have any answers for any questions. So people aren't going to forget, okay? You went from Little Orphan Annie to one of the Real Housewives, okay? But we can still tell you're Karine Jean-Pierre under that wig, okay? We can tell. We actually have a clip of Karine Jean-Pierre's hairstylist seeing her in her new appearances.
Oh, Jesus. God almighty.
Okay, obviously we were joking, but I was saying, oh God almighty. She really thinks she's going to go out there with a new wig and that we're all going to have new brains, new memories? No, sweetheart. Okay, you can put lipstick on a pig. You can put a wig on KJP. You can put a new wig on Karine Jean-Pierre. We can still tell that you're a liar, but it's clear she's auditioning. It's clear Karine Jean-Pierre is auditioning to be on The View. She's auditioning for an MSNBC contract. She's really going out there and, aiming her invective at President Trump, right? President Trump is eons more effective, way more effective than Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't get really anything positive done for 4 years, but here she is talking about the authoritarian regime we're living under, apparently.
Right now, in this moment, there's an existential threat. Our democracy is hanging by a thread. Some people would say we're already an authoritarian regime. And I need to see teeth. I need to see fire. And not just me. Many people are worried and concerned.
For Karine Jean-Pierre to sit there and say, I need to see teeth, I need to see fire, when folks on the left are picking up guns and firing at Republicans. Charlie Kirk was just assassinated on September 10th. I know the news cycle moves fast, people. He was just assassinated on September 10th. We've had multiple assassination attempts on President Trump, okay? The guy got his ear nicked. Okay, his ear almost blown off in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th because some deranged kid, Thomas Crooks, climbed up onto a roof in broad daylight. Okay, so shame on you. Shame on you, Karine Jean-Pierre, for going out there and putting this narrative again that you want to see teeth and you want to see fire. Okay, you guys want to tell us to tone down the rhetoric when they're picking up guns and firing at us. And for her to say, for Karine Jean-Pierre to sit there on MSNBC and say that democracy is hanging by a thread. The only thing hanging by a thread is your new wig, okay? Our country is stronger than it's ever been, especially under Joe Biden, okay? You want to talk about threats to democracy? Having a president who is brain dead, non-compos mentis, that was a threat to democracy. Opening the border and allowing a mass invasion of hundreds of thousands of people, that was a threat to democracy, okay? Democracy was hanging by a thread for 4 years under Joe Biden, okay? Having cocaine at the White House, having topless trans people on the lawn flashing, okay? That was threatening to the country and our brand on the world stage. So Karine Jean-Pierre, shame on you. I'm done discussing you, but we'll keep track of your book tour, okay? The calamitous book tour continues, but Karine Jean-Pierre, you need to go back to the drawing board, okay? Because you can put a new wig on, you can put new lipstick on, you can try to do revisionist history. We all know what we saw with Joe Biden. Let's talk about Peak, a luxury brand transforming wellness with the absolute best, rare and precious plants, cutting-edge ingredients, and formulations rooted in traditional wisdom. Their science-backed botanicals, minerals, and supplements support sustained energy, metabolic function, immune health, and radiant skin. Peak is proud to introduce Sun Goddess Matcha, an organic ceremonial superfood blend that redefines your daily routine. Crafted from the purest tea leaves, it provides a smooth, sustained energy for a calm mind and a radiant glow. The nutrients in their matcha can help curb sugar and hunger cravings, making it easier to stick to your wellness goals, and their matcha is 100% organic. Peak picks me up when I'm feeling under the weather, especially with the seasons changing. Unlock your healthiest glow and feel the difference. Get up to 20% off for life, a complimentary gift, and explore Peak's clean, pure ingredient wellness rituals at peaklife.com/link. That's PIQUE life.com/link.